The email came in at 7:03 a.m., right as I was brushing my teeth. Subject: Scheduled home wellness visit. Per compliance protocol from HR department. I didn't open it right away. I figured it was another generic survey. Then I saw the preview text. We've received a wellness concern regarding your recent behavior. A scheduled check-in is set for Thursday, 2:30 p.m. at your residential address. I froze. I live alone. I never submitted anything. I never spoke to anyone. I hadn't been in the office in 5 weeks, fully remote since the new policy. I opened the full email. It got worse. As part of our employee stability initiative, we've been alerted to several signals that indicate elevated isolation risk. Specifically, windows remain covered for extended periods. Kitchen appliances inactive. Unusual sleep cycle based on login timestamps. I read that line 5 times. I hadn't told anyone I covered my bedroom windows. I hadn't mentioned that I disconnected the stove. And my unusual login times? I worked at night, quiet hours, always had. I replied immediately. I never requested any check-in. Who submitted this concern? No response. I called the number in the footer. Straight to voicemail. I checked our HR system. The listed contact had been changed 2 days earlier. I opened my laptop and went through my equipment. The company sent me the gear 6 months ago. A monitor, a wireless keyboard, a smart surge protector with energy reporting. That was their phrase. Back then, it sounded eco-friendly. I dug into the admin panel of the smart plug. It had a MAC address I didn't recognize, routing through a secondary DNS. Not local. Looked like it bounced through 3 nodes before landing on a masked IP. I ran a reverse lookup. Blocked. I tried to disconnect the device remotely. Access denied. Then I remembered something worse. 4 months ago, IT had sent out an optional security upgrade, a background service to optimize connection speed and ensure endpoint safety. I installed it. Everyone did. I opened my activity monitor. The service was still running. It had full disk access and camera permissions. I'd never granted those. I opened Terminal and ran a permissions log. The install date was correct, but the permissions had been elevated 2 weeks ago. Quietly, during a background patch. No alert, no email, no record in patch notes. And that's when I realized something simple and horrifying. They were watching me. Not hackers, not criminals, my employer. And they were framing it as a mental health concern. I stood there in my kitchen, lights still off, brushing toast crumbs from my shirt, realizing the reality wasn't that I'd slipped. It was that I'd been flagged by a system I couldn't see. That smart plug, probably logging movement patterns. That background service, maybe tracking eye contact with the screen. My login times interpreted as isolation. And now they were sending someone to my home, not security, not police, a wellness agent. I Googled the name from the signature. Nothing. I searched the phone number. Masked. Rerouted through VoIP. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. No caller ID. I didn't answer. 30 seconds later, another email. We understand this may be stressful. We simply want to help. Denial is common in early-stage disassociation. That sentence, it didn't sound like concern. It sounded like pre-written language. A script. One they'd sent to others before. Which meant I wasn't the first, and maybe not the worst. I clicked open the admin panel for my router. 3 unrecognized devices were connected to my Wi-Fi. No names, just alphanumeric strings. All 3 had handshake timestamps going back exactly 12 days. The same day my permissions elevated. I tried kicking them off. Denied. No override. It wasn't my network anymore. Not fully. So I unplugged the router, yanked the power, ripped the surge protector off the wall, shut the laptop, pulled the battery from my work phone, and sat there in silence, in the dark, waiting to see if they'd still come. I stayed offline for 14 hours. No internet, no devices, no work phone. I even left my personal phone powered off in the freezer. Just in case. Sounded stupid, but I wasn't taking chances. At 2:17 p.m., someone buzzed my building from downstairs. No name, no voice. Just a short buzz. Then silence. I waited. At 2:30 sharp, the exact time listed in the HR email, I heard the main entrance door click open. Someone had a code, or a master key, maybe a fob. My apartment's on the 3rd floor, no elevator. Footsteps on the stairs. Slow, deliberate. Then a soft knock. 3 short taps. I didn't answer. They waited 30 seconds. Knocked again. Then I heard paper sliding under the door. I waited 5 more minutes before touching it. Just a plain white envelope with my name. Printed, not handwritten. Inside. Wellness check attempted. Per compliance protocol, refusal of contact may escalate to Tier 2 intervention. Please reply to reschedule. This is a preventative measure. Stability oversight, EI-2. No company logo, no HR branding. EI-2? I Googled it on a burner laptop I'd kept untouched for months. Found nothing. No entity, no agency, nothing tied to the company. I opened my laptop again, the one I'd shut down. Booted without Wi-Fi. Disabled all outbound services. I opened system logs and saw something impossible. The laptop had been accessed remotely 9 hours earlier when it was closed, powered off, and disconnected. Not booted, not awake. Accessed. A shadow login under a temporary user not shown in standard accounts. Dumped memory logs. Processed webcam cache. Parsed local files. Then auto-removed traces. They left a fingerprint anyway, a storage snapshot file, a remnant from whatever process they ran. They'd built this into the machine. Not malware, firmware. My machine wasn't mine. It hadn't been since the day I joined. I checked the install date for the BIOS. It predated delivery. Whoever supplied employee hardware had pre-configured every machine. Not for protection, for surveillance. I powered down again, ripped out the SSD, cracked the case on the plug strip, removed the smart chip, fried it in the microwave, disconnected every camera I owned, cut power to the wall sockets. Then I packed a bag and left. Didn't notify work, didn't check in. I'd already been flagged as unstable. Leaving would only confirm it. But staying, that would let them finish whatever this was. I drove 3 hours out of the city, used cash, cheap motel, no ID required, borrowed Wi-Fi from the gas station across the street, set up a VPN chain, then opened a clean browser window and searched. Employee Surveillance Protocol EI-2 Corporate Wellness. I found a form, not read it, not indexed, just raw HTML. Last updated 6 months ago. Dozens of posts, anonymous, plain text, no profiles, no images. People describing the exact same thing. Scheduled check-ins they never requested. Monitoring through company-issued devices, automated flags for social detachment, risk of withdrawal, productivity asymmetry, visits from unidentified agents, threats of escalation under Tier 2, total collapse of digital privacy. Someone wrote, Tier 2 isn't support, it's behavioral reset. Another, if they can't manage you digitally, they replace you physically. I didn't believe it, not fully. Until I searched the usernames mentioned in those logs. One was someone I used to see in team meetings. She hadn't shown up in weeks. I thought she'd quit. Her LinkedIn was still active, but her photo was new. Same name, same job title, same employer, different face. Like someone was maintaining the account but didn't care if it looked like the same person anymore. That's when I knew this wasn't just about monitoring, it was about compliance at scale, and I had officially fallen out of alignment. I stayed offline for 4 days, no pings, no logins, no trackers. I bought a burner Chromebook from a pawn shop, used tethered public Wi-Fi from the back alley behind a train station. When I connected to my old company's intranet, through a fake contractor portal I found in archived logs, I saw what I wasn't supposed to see. There was a folder named Lattice. Inside it, tiered user folders. Tier 0 to Tier 4. My ID was under Tier 1. The Tier 1 tag linked to a JSON file. That file listed parameters like behavioral deviation index, rising. Interaction entropy, unbalanced. Corrective response, ineffective. Subject risk, drift prone. Replace, flagged. 5.1225. That was 5 days ago. 2 days before they sent the wellness email, they had already decided. I wasn't being helped. I was being phased out. Lattice wasn't a wellness program. It was a continuity system for managing unstable employee behavior. And by manage, I mean erase and reinsert. The folder had media too, photos, faces, some real, some synthetic. I found mine. A photo of my face, but something was off. Too even, slightly wrong mouth. Background blurred, a eye rebuilt, smoothed over. Replica V 0.3, unpublished. To be deployed upon subject disappearance. There was even a draft of a public-facing email. It's been a pleasure working with you all. I've decided to take a step back to focus on personal growth and family. Wishing you all the best. My name, I never wrote that. They did. Preloaded, scheduled. They were preparing my exit and replacement without my input. I downloaded everything, backed up locally, no cloud, no trace. Then I checked one last log, the calendar feed for Tier 3 Ops. One entry stood out. Stability deployment, local zone 3. B. Date today, time 2:45 p.m. That's my block. I left the motel at 1:20. I was 40 minutes away. When I pulled up, the front door to my building was already cracked open. 2 plain cars out front, no logos. I didn't go inside. Instead, I parked 2 streets over, sat in a coffee shop with the blinds down, and watched the building until 3:10 p.m. No one came out. At 3:19 p.m., a car pulled away. One guy in the driver's seat, alone. He looked a lot like me, not exact, but close enough that someone distracted at work wouldn't notice. I waited 2 more hours, then went back in. My door was unlocked. My apartment clean, emptier, laptop gone. Fridge cleared. Even the framed photo of me and my dad from 10 years ago was replaced. Same photo, but slightly altered. My posture straighter, his face clearer. Nothing else touched. Except for one small thing. The company badge I tossed in a drawer months ago? It was now in the center of the kitchen counter, clean, laminated, and freshly printed. With a newer photo. More polished, more presentable. And the login ID was updated. Still my name, but a different number. Lower. A Tier 0. Which meant I wasn't the baseline anymore. I was just one more variable that had drifted, and someone else, or something, had taken my slot.